You know, we live in a world where we've been spoon-fed the idea of God, the universe, or some higher power in a way that keeps us in a box. They want us to think small, to believe in a version of God that keeps us comfortable, that keeps us from asking the hard questions. But here's the thing, the top 1%, those who truly understand the nature of reality, who wield power that seems almost supernatural, they know something about God that most people don't. And when I say God, I'm not talking about some distant figure sitting in the clouds. No, I'm talking about the real force behind all creation, something far more profound than we've been led to believe.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to just get it? Why can they manifest things out of thin air? Why does reality seem to bend around their will? It's not luck. It's not a coincidence. They've tapped into a secret about God that allows them to manipulate reality itself. You might think that sounds crazy, but it's not. It's the truth. And once you understand it, your whole concept of God, of life, will change forever. We've been conditioned to think of God as something outside of ourselves. But what if I told you the real God is within you? Not in some poetic, metaphorical way, but literally. The divine force that creates worlds, that shapes galaxies, is the same force that flows through your mind, your thoughts, your emotions. The real God isn't up there. He's in here. And the top 1%? They know this. They don't pray to some external being hoping for a miracle. They create miracles. They understand that the power of God is the power of consciousness. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you questioned your idea of God? I mean, really questioned it. Not in a church, not in a temple, but in your own mind. Most of us are too scared to do that because we've been programmed to believe that questioning God is dangerous. But that's exactly what keeps you from discovering the truth. The real danger is in not questioning. The real danger is in accepting the version of God that keeps you small, that keeps you separated from the infinite power within you. The top 1% know that God isn't there to be worshipped. God is there to be used. And that's where most people get it wrong. They think spirituality is about submission, about following rules, about hoping for salvation. But the elite, they know that God is a tool, a force to be directed, and they've been using this knowledge for centuries to gain power, wealth, and influence. They don't talk about it, because if the masses knew what they knew, the whole system would fall apart. Governments, religions, corporations, they all rely on keeping people in the dark about the true nature of God. And here's the kicker, you don't have to be born into the top 1% to access this power. It's not something reserved for the elite. It's available to anyone who knows how to use it. But the question is, are you ready to see the truth? Are you ready to stop worshiping a God that's been designed to keep you weak and start harnessing the force that can make you unstoppable? You see, the real God is not some personal being with human emotions. The real God is energy. It's the force that flows through everything, through you, through me, through the entire universe. And this energy responds to your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. The top 1% understand that reality itself is a mental construct, and by controlling their minds, they control their reality. They don't let life happen to them, they make life happen. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think that you need to be spiritual, to meditate for hours, to go on some long pilgrimage to connect with God. But the top 1%, they know that connection is instantaneous. It's about alignment. It's about understanding that your thoughts are the most powerful force in the universe. You don't have to wait for God to act. You are God acting. Every thought you think is a command to the universe. But only a few realize this. So, I'll ask you, what's keeping you from realizing it? Let me tell you something. The real secret isn't just knowing that God is within you. It's understanding the mechanism of how this divine power works through you. And this is where the top 1% really separate themselves from everyone else. They don't just know they have this power, they know how to use it. You've probably heard the phrase, thoughts become things, but do you really understand what that means? It's not just some motivational fluff. It's literal. Your thoughts are constantly shaping your reality, whether you know it or not. But here's the catch: most people are thinking thoughts that keep them stuck in the same loop, the same patterns. The top 1%, they think differently. They understand that every thought creates a ripple in the fabric of reality. It's like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples flow outward, creating effects that you can't even begin to see. But here's what they really know that ripple. It's instant. The moment you think, reality shifts. You may not see it immediately, but the shift happens. And the more aligned you are with the understanding that you are God, the faster the shift becomes. This is why some people can manifest things seemingly overnight, while others struggle for years. It's not about luck, it's about alignment. So, how do you align yourself with this power? How do you start thinking like the top 1%? It's simple, but not easy. You have to start treating every thought like a command to the universe. Most people let their thoughts run wild, reacting to whatever happens around them. But the elite, they don't react. They create. They control their thoughts with laser-like focus because they know every thought is an order to the divine energy that shapes reality. Think about this. When was the last time you really paid attention to your thoughts? Not just the big ones, but the small ones. The ones that seem insignificant. Because those small thoughts, they're shaping your life just as much as the big ones. The top 1% know that mastery over their thoughts is mastery over reality. And that's where the real secret lies. It's not about praying harder. It's not about meditating for hours. It's about mastering your mind. Because once you do that, reality bends to your will. But here's the part that most people miss. You can't just think positive thoughts and expect everything to change. You have to believe it. You have to feel it. The top 1% know that emotion is the fuel that powers thought. If you're thinking one thing but feeling another, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. And the universe? It responds to the strongest signal. So if you're thinking abundance but feeling fear, guess what? You're going to get more scared. The top 1% don't just think rich, they feel rich. They don't just think powerful, they feel powerful. And that's the key. So ask yourself, how are you feeling right now? This is where we get into the final, most powerful part of the secret. It's not enough to know that God is within you. It's not enough to understand how your thoughts shape reality. The top 1% have mastered something even deeper. They've mastered the art of detachment. Now, that might sound strange. Why would you detach if you want to create your reality? Isn't the whole point to focus on what you want? Yes, but here's the twist. The more you need something to happen, the more you push it away. The top 1% know that the real key to manifesting your desires is to want them, but not need them. They've mastered the art of letting go. They know that when you're desperate for something, you're operating from a place of lack. And lack only creates more lack. Here's the paradox: the more you can let go, the more you can create. The top 1% don't cling to outcomes. They set their intentions, they focus their thoughts and emotions, but then they let it go. They trust that the universe will deliver. And it always does. Because when you let go, you're telling the universe that you already have it. You're signaling abundance, not lack. And abundance attracts abundance. Think about it. How many times have you wanted something so badly, only to see it slip through your fingers? That's because the more you hold on, the more you block the flow. The top 1% understand that the real power of God within us is a power of flow. It's a power that works best when we let go of control. Because in reality, control is an illusion. The top 1% don't control reality. They flow with it. They understand that they are part of the same energy that creates worlds, and that energy doesn't need to be controlled. It just needs to be harnessed. And when you let go, when you trust in the power within you, that's when the real magic happens. So I'll leave you with this final question. Are you ready to let go? Are you ready to stop forcing your reality and start flowing with it? Because the moment you do, you'll realize that the top 1% aren't special. They've just learned the secret that's been inside you all along. It's time for you to tap into it. Here's the thing most people spend their whole lives seeking. They seek happiness, they seek success, they seek love, they seek God. But what if I told you the top 1% don't seek anymore? They've moved beyond seeking into a state of knowing, and that's the shift that changes everything. When you're seeking something, you're operating from the belief that it's missing. You're constantly in a state of lack, always looking for something outside of yourself to fill the void. But the top 1%? They've realized that everything they've been seeking was inside them all along. They've stopped chasing. They've stopped searching. Instead, they've stepped into the realization that they already are everything they want to be. Think about it. If you knew deep down in your bones that you were already connected to all the abundance, love, and power in the universe, how would you act differently? Would you still be chasing things? Or would you start attracting them effortlessly, simply because you know they're already yours? This is what the top 1% know about the real God. There's nothing to seek, because you are already connected to everything you desire. The real God isn't some external force you have to search for. The real God is the energy that flows through every single one of your cells, the consciousness that creates your thoughts, the force that beats your heart. And once you realize that, once you know it, everything changes. You stop living in fear. Fear can only exist in a state of separation, a state where you believe you're disconnected from what you want. But the moment you step into knowing, fear disappears. The top 1% don't live in fear because they've realized there's nothing to fear. They know they are the creators of their own reality. They know that the real God is the consciousness that flows through them. And that means they have access to unlimited power. So why are so many people still living in fear? Why do they feel disconnected? It's because they've been conditioned to believe in a version of God that keeps them small. A version of God that's separate from them, distant, unreachable. But the top 1% know that this version of God is a lie. The real God is the force that's flowing through your mind, your heart, your soul. And once you know that, once you stop seeking and start being, you become unstoppable. But here's the real question: are you ready to stop seeking? Are you ready to step into the knowing that you already have everything you need right here, right now? Because that's the shift that will take you from living like the 99% to living like the 1%. The top 1% don't wait for permission. They don't wait for a sign from the universe. They don't wait for things to fall into place. They know that they are the sign. They are the permission. They are the permission. They are the force that makes things fall into place. And that's the mindset you need to cultivate if you want to access the same power. You see, the real God doesn't give you things. The real God gives you the ability to create things. And that's the secret most people don't understand. They pray for things to happen. They beg for miracles. They hope for change. But the top 1%? They don't hope. They know that they are the miracle. They know that they are the change. And once you truly understand that, once you embody that knowing, you'll stop waiting for life to happen to you, and you'll start making life happen on your terms. So here's the challenge: stop seeking. Stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start knowing. Start acting as if you already have the power, because you do. Start creating your reality, because you can. The top 1% know that they are creators, not victims. They know that their thoughts, their emotions, their actions are the tools they use to shape their world. And the moment you step into that same knowing, the moment you stop looking for God and start realizing that you are the embodiment of God's power, you'll start to see miracles happen in your life. But here's the thing: this shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. It takes awareness. It takes a commitment to retraining your mind to think and feel in alignment with the truth of who you are. And that's where most people get stuck. They want instant results. They want the universe to hand them everything on a silver platter. But the top 1% know that real power comes from mastery. Mastery over your mind, mastery over your emotions, mastery over your energy. And that's what you need to work on. You need to start mastering the art of knowing. You need to start training yourself to think, feel, and act like the creator that you are. Because the more you do that, the more you'll see your reality shift. The more you'll see the power of God working through you. And the more you'll realize that the only thing that's ever been holding you back is the belief that you're separate from that power. So I'll ask you again, are you ready to stop seeking and start knowing? It's time to break it down to the core. To the most profound truth that the top 1% live by. You are the divine in action. This isn't just spiritual fluff. This is the real deal. The top 1% don't just believe in God, they know that they are God, manifesting in human form. And I know that's a radical statement, but stay with me, because this is the truth that's been hidden from the masses for centuries. When you hear that you are God, it doesn't mean you're the creator of the entire universe in the way we've been taught to think about it. It means you are a unique expression of the divine force that creates everything. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are consciousness in human form, and the same power that creates stars, galaxies, and entire realities is flowing through you right now. The top 1% understand this at a fundamental level. They don't see themselves as separate from the divine. They don't see God as something out there. They see themselves as part of the divine tapestry of existence, intricately woven into the fabric of reality itself. And because of this, they know they have the power to shape that reality. You see, the real God doesn't create from a place of need or lack. The real God creates from a place of abundance. And that's how you need to start seeing yourself. You're not here to beg for scraps from the universe. You're here to create, to expand, to express the infinite abundance that already exists within you. When you start living from this place, everything changes. You stop seeing obstacles as problems, and you start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You stop fearing failure, and you start embracing it as part of the process of creation. You stop waiting for external validation, and you start trusting your own inner guidance, knowing that the divine is speaking through you. This is the final revelation: you are the divine in action. You are the creator of your reality, and the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. The top 1% live without limits because they know that they are the ones who set the rules. They are the ones who decide what's possible. And so are you. So I'll ask you one last time, are you ready to stop living like you're separate from God and start living like you are God in action? Because the moment you make that shift, the moment you step into that truth, you'll realize that the top 1% don't have any special powers. They've just unlocked the power that's been inside them all along. And now, it's your turn to do the same. Now that we've touched on the deepest truth that you are the divine in action, let's explore how the top 1% use this understanding to actively shape their reality. One of the most powerful tools they wield is belief. You see, belief isn't just a thought you hold in your mind. It's a force that bends reality around you. The top 1% understand that belief is the key to unlocking the power of God within and directing it in whatever way they choose. They don't just believe in their success, their power, or their vision. They know it's already theirs. So what makes belief so powerful? It's simple: your beliefs are the blueprint for your reality. They are the instructions you give to the universe, to your subconscious mind, and to the divine energy that flows through you. The top 1% know that the universe is constantly responding to their beliefs. If they believe they are unstoppable, then they are. If they believe they are entitled to abundance, then abundance flows to them. The universe doesn't argue with your beliefs, it simply reflects them back to you. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think they believe in success, wealth, or happiness, but deep down, they hold conflicting beliefs that cancel out what they truly desire. For example, you might say you believe in abundance, but if deep down you feel unworthy or fearful of failure, those subconscious beliefs will sabotage your efforts. The top 1% have mastered the art of belief alignment. They've trained themselves to eliminate any beliefs that contradict their desires, so their conscious and subconscious minds are fully aligned with their goals. So how do you begin to align your beliefs with the reality you want to create? First, you have to identify the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. What stories are you telling yourself? What beliefs about yourself or the world are keeping you stuck? Maybe you believe that success is hard, or that you don't deserve happiness, or that money is scarce. These beliefs are like chains, keeping you from stepping into your divine power. Once you've identified these limiting beliefs, the next step is to replace them with empowering beliefs. This isn't about wishful thinking or repeating empty affirmations. It's about reprogramming your mind at the deepest level. The top 1% use techniques like visualization, meditation, and self-hypnosis to install new beliefs that are in alignment with their goals. They don't just tell themselves they are powerful, they feel it. They don't just think about abundance, they live as if they already have it. And that's the key. You have to live your belief. It's not enough to think about it or talk about it. You have to embody it. You have to act as if the thing you desire is already yours. Because here's the truth: belief without action is meaningless. The top 1% don't just sit around believing in success, they take action every single day that reinforces their belief. They move through the world with the confidence that comes from knowing that the universe is conspiring in their favor. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. But what if I believe something and it doesn't happen? This is where most people get stuck. They try to believe in something, but when they don't see immediate results, they get discouraged. But the top 1% understand that reality doesn't always shift instantly. It takes time for the universe to rearrange itself around your beliefs, especially if you've been holding on to limiting beliefs for most of your life. Patience is key. The universe is always working behind the scenes, even when you don't see it. So let me ask you, what do you believe about yourself? About your potential? About your power? Because whatever you believe, that's what you're creating. If you want to change your reality, you have to start by changing your beliefs. And that's not something that happens overnight. It's a process of consistent daily work. One of the most misunderstood aspects of spiritual power is the importance of consistency. The top 1% know that success, both in the material and spiritual realms, is not about bursts of inspiration or occasional effort. It's about showing up every single day. It's about committing to the process, no matter how long it takes. You see, the universe rewards persistence. Most people give up too soon. They try something for a week, a month, maybe even a few months, and when they don't see the results they want, they throw in the towel. But the top 1%, they keep going, even when it looks like nothing is happening. They understand that every action, every thought, every belief is planting a seed. And while some seeds sprout quickly, others take time. But they know that as long as they keep watering those seeds, they will eventually bear fruit. Consistency is the key to mastering your mind, your beliefs, and your energy. The top 1% don't just meditate or visualize when they feel like it. They do it every day. They don't just focus on their goals when they're motivated. They work on them even when they don't feel like it. Because they understand that mastery doesn't come from occasional effort. It comes from dedication. Think about it this way: if you were to plant a garden, you wouldn't expect the flowers to bloom overnight, right? You'd understand that you need to water the seeds, tend to the soil, and give them time to grow. But in our fast-paced world, we've been conditioned to expect instant results. We want everything now, and when it doesn't happen, we get frustrated and give up. But the top 1% know that the divine process requires time. And here's the magic of consistency: the more consistent you are, the more you build momentum. At first, it might feel like nothing is happening. You're doing the work, but you're not seeing the results. But as you keep going, as you keep believing, as you keep taking action, you start to build unstoppable energy. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. At first it's small, but as it keeps rolling, it gains more and more mass until it becomes a force that's impossible to stop. This is why the top 1% never stop. They know that every day they put in the work, they're adding to their momentum. And eventually, that momentum becomes so powerful that nothing can stand in their way. But it all starts with consistency. The universe isn't interested in what you do sometimes. It's interested in what you do every day. So how can you start building consistency in your life? It's simple, start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just pick one thing, one habit, one belief, one action, and commit to doing it every day. Maybe it's meditating for 5 minutes. Maybe it's visualizing your goals before bed. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for each morning. Whatever it is, start small and build from there. The top 1% didn't become masters overnight. They started just like you, one step at a time. Now, here's the final question. Are you willing to be consistent? Are you willing to show up every day, even when it feels like nothing is happening? Because that's the secret that separates the top 1% from everyone else. They don't stop. And neither should you.